We're live.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Kinda Funny Screencast. Each and every week right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We get together to talk about TV, movies, and streaming services. I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the movie bros herself, Joey Noel.
Hello. It feels like it's been a long time since I've been on this.
The Butterfinger Man, Kevin Coelho.
Excuse me.
Just immediately leaves.
There we go,
there
baby.
we go.
There we go. This episode's not brought to you by Butterfinger, but I really wish that it was. Kev, how you feeling? You're looking like a little Butterfinger right now.
Oh, man, I'm feeling like I'm ready to game better, if you know what I mean, with Butterfinger. Also, you can see Paula doing prepping Cecil in the background to take him to the backyard to go potty. Exciting stuff.
Exciting
stuff. He's so
stuff.
cute.
Purely riveting. Ladies and gentlemen, you can watch this show live on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames, or you could watch it later on youtube.com/kindafunny or roosterteeth.com. If you want to listen to it, search your favorite podcast service for Kinda Funny Screencast, and we'll be there for you. You can get the show ad-free by going to patreon.com/kindafunny, just like our Patreon producers did. Mohammed, Cameron Reagan, Steve Powers, Lee Polero, Julian the Gluten-Free Gamer, Kieran O'Donnell, and Drew Garnier. Thank you all for all of your support. And also, shout out to our sponsor, Honey. Thank you for supporting this show and helping keep us going. That's how we go. How's that Butterfinger, Kev? Oh my God, I hated that. I did not like that face. I didn't like
it's also weird that there's no sound.
I don't like that he's on mute. It's so hard, but I guess I prefer it that way. Oh,
you did not want to hear the noise associated with that face, Tim.
Let's get into the news, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off with the story that we've kind of been talking about for the last couple months here, which is going to be the first movie to make it back into theaters. Pretty much every major blockbuster that we've known to be coming this summer, pretty much from March on, has been delayed, with the exception of one. Do you guys remember what it is?
But I also see it on the doc, so I feel like I'm cheating, even though I remember it.
Is it No Time to Die? Is it Wonder Woman?
Those both got delayed.
Guessing.
I don't remember.
Tenet.
It's been a long time.
Christopher Nolan's Tenet is what we were looking for.
Time traveling.
And this has been kind of a weird, bizarre thing. The last couple of weeks we've talked about, kind of the different theater chains kind of holding out hope that Tenet's going to be the return to theaters in mid-July. And I thought it was kind of bizarre that so far this movie hasn't been pushed when other movies
doesn't make any
from
sense.
The same distributor are being pushed. So we got some quotes here. Quote, Chris really would like to be coming out with the film that opens theaters, IMAX CEO Richard Gelfond said on a recent earnings call. I don't know anyone in America who's pushing harder to get the theaters reopened and to get his movie released than Chris Nolan. So that's certainly the message that Nolan has relayed to the exhibition community. He has pledged to finish the film's extensive post-production and visual effects work in the coming weeks and is fully committed to delivering the picture in time for its mid-July release date, despite the fact that social distancing has left many crew members fine-tuning things remotely. Nolan, who penned an op-ed in the Washington Post arguing that movie theaters represent a vital part of social life and must be preserved, has assured exhibitors that he will do anything he can to help them get back on their feet. Plans are still being worked out, but theaters are hoping to mount an advertising campaign utilizing A-list filmmakers, urging the public to return to theaters. Nolan could be one of the people featured in those spots and materials. Then there's just a whole bunch of other stuff here, but a high-profile blockbuster will be the biggest draw for movie theaters, said Paul Deribigian, a senior analyst at Comscore. People have been watching older movies at home and rewatching TV shows. To have something brand new like Tenet or Mulan is going to be hugely important to get people incredibly excited to go. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this, guys?
I feel like this is dumb. Like I can't imagine the first big movie release to be a successful one. Like you have to think that like people are going to be uncomfortable with the idea after being in this for 2 to 3 months, going into a movie theater with possibly, even if it's half full, like I don't know how many people. 150 people in the movie theater, and on top of that, if they're doing stuff where it's like maybe a movie theater is half full, then that's less tickets. You good?
Yeah, the thing that like struck me as the funniest is like the PSA with like filmmakers of like come back to theaters. Like that seems like a weird call, and I don't know that that's necessarily going to be like super effective. Like,
Yeah, it's weird because there's definitely the health and safety side of this, then the
yeah,
political side that's kind of like, ooh, that's definitely inadvisable to be pressuring people to be put into unsafe situations right now when we're still not at a point that we're out of the woods.
yeah.
But I do think that being a little less cynical looking at it, I think that the messaging and the ideology behind it is in the right place, and I do think that there's going to need to be a concerted effort of movie fans to support theaters when it is safe to do so, to be able to get them back on their feet and to get people comfortable with the idea of this, because we're so close to this entire Hollywood system crumbling before us. And if that were to be the case, like, movies will never be the same. Like, Kev, all the
So
things you
sad.
brought up are so true, about like Tenet being this big movie that, like, the Nolan movies are huge spectacle films. Like, they are films, right? And I feel in some ways this is the absolute last movie that should be the one out the gate, kind of trying to get people back in, um, because I feel like already it doesn't have the Disney Marvel branding behind it. It's just, oh, it's the next Christopher Nolan movie. So it's like the people that know what that means are excited, but it's not necessarily $1 billion franchise.
It's a new IP, right?
Yeah. Every time it's a new IP, and the movies do very well because
No, I mean not every time. He did the Batman movies, which is a known IP, and
no, I'm saying, but yeah, but like every time, anytime he puts out new IPs, they do very well, but it's not like they're doing on the level of in the Disney
Marvel
stuff,
movie.
big stuff. So it's like, in some ways this would be the worst movie to come out there, but in other ways it's like, well, it's not expected to break the bank in that way anyways, right? Like, sacrificial lambs are going to be necessary in order to like get people back, but I feel like the lambs need to be of consequence enough to actually motivate people to go.
I wonder if this is a move to like grab the attention and everyone be talking about Tenet in a hopes
which
that
is smart.
It becomes like an Oscar
Darling
when
kind of
people,
thing.
yeah, exactly. When people think Oscars 2020, the only movie for Best Picture that they're thinking about is like, oh well, Tenet,
Yeah, I mean, and you got to imagine that they're pushing for that. We'll see if this happens. I don't believe that Tenet is going to hit theaters July 17th or whatever it was, in any meaningful way. But
it just seems so silly for him to be actively campaigning. And I understand that like he's not to the point where there's infomercials and stuff, but like it sounds like he wants it to happen, and it's just like, I don't know. I don't think that people are gonna rush to the movie theaters. Like, I think that there's gonna,
I think you're gonna get I think you're gonna get people that are gonna rush to movie theaters, because there's already people that are like clamoring to get back to hair salons and stuff like that. Not that I think that that's the Nolan crew of people necessarily,
right?
But I think that a Nolan movie could push some people that are on the edge of like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like, people that are committed enough to liking his movies to want to see it in theaters.
Right.
I mean,
right.
If it's
but
smaller
like,
movies,
is that enough to be a big deal?
But like, if you put smaller movies out there, I think those are the ones that people are going to be like, man, not worth it at all. So I do think that you kind of have to come out with a big hitter to get people motivated to go.
It would motivate me in a way that like I would never even think of going to see a smaller title. But with this, it's just like, would I end up going in July? Probably not. I don't think that I feel comfortable with that. But at some point, I'm going to have to feel comfortable. You know what I mean?
And I feel like that's the one that would make you think about it more than like if they were like, hey, we're going to put Trolls World Tour, like any of the ones that they've put out digitally to try and do like a theater run for or something. I don't know.
I just feel like July is too soon. Like, I could see that happening in like September or August, but I feel like July, it's still too fresh.
Yeah, we'll see. I doubt it, but we'll see. Next up, some fantastic news for all of us. Dave renewed for season 2 as it becomes FX Network's highest ranked comedy series ever. Fueled by strong digital viewing, FXX's new comedy Dave has been a breakout, and now the series, co-created by and starring Dave Bird, aka Lil Dicky, has been renewed for a second season, which will premiere next year. Let's go, baby.
Oh, it's 2021?
Yeah. The recently concluded first season of Dave has officially become the network's most watched comedy series ever, with an average episodic audience of 5.32 million and growing total viewers to date. VOD and streaming. It eclipsed the previous FX record holder, Atlanta, which averaged 5.2 million total viewers on all platforms in its first season. So super cool stuff, man. I'm very excited about this. I can't wait to see where they go with season 2, because season 1 was so fantastic and sets everything up into such a great place that I can't wait to continue with these characters. And I think that the ante is only going to get upped. And I think that season 2, he's going to have something to prove.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. This is really cool and good news.
Yeah. For me, it's interesting because I feel like it's really easy for me to get into season 1 of a show and really like it. And if shows don't come like really swinging hard at the beginning of season 2, it's very easy for me to drop off and be like, man, it's not as good. But I feel like Dave is one where like I don't worry about that at all. Like I can't imagine that he's not going to bring the same level, if not amplified even more, to season 2. And like with all the like not advertising, but like all the talk about it, I can't imagine that like they're not going to get crazier and crazier guests too, which is weird considering who they had in season 1. What'd you say, Kev?
I said, can you guys imagine the pressure of like having a very, very successful show and be like, all right, do it again.
My thing with this, and with we talked about it, I think, in an interview a couple weeks ago, where he was talking about like there were so many ideas they had that they had to hold back because he shouldn't be that famous yet, or like they shouldn't be going that hard. Not because they don't want to one-up themselves, but just because it doesn't make sense contextually. Mm-hmm. I have full faith that there is not a full plan, but there's enough of a plan that they have enough things that are going to feel fresh and ridiculous and make us go, oh my God, the same way season 1 has consistently. So many different episodes.
It's exciting.
I love it.
Me too.
Moving on. Here we go. Bad Boys 4. We got an update, baby. Producer Jerry Bruckheimer shares some new details. He said, we had a great experience on the first one, specifically talking about the third one, technically. Both through the development process with Tom Rothman, the chair of Sony, and his team, and then through the editing process and filming process. We put together, along with their help, a movie that's very satisfying for the audience, and we'd like to do it again, and I think they'd like us to do it again. We're currently working on a draft for the fourth one. Let's go, baby. I'm in. I can
hear the excitement of Josh McCouga all the way.
Hell yeah. LA. Bad Boys for Life. They've ruined it, though, by calling
I know. Do you think that they're just going to commit and call it that, though?
Bad Boys for Life 2.
Yeah. Again.
Bad Boys Forever.
Oh, gosh. Bad Boys Forever would be dope.
It would be. It's so stupid, but I'd fucking love it, though. I can see them doing it.
Yeah.
So anyways, cool news. Not really news. It's just more like kind of obvious things. This movie did very well. So sequel.
Is it still number 1?
Sense.
I would assume, right, for this year?
I mean, it must be, right? I don't think anything could beat it.
God, it's so upsetting.
Because nothing's been released. So if it was number 1, it's still number 1. But guys, I have some news for you that is truly bizarre. All right?
Okay. I'm excited. I don't look at the show notes beforehand, so this is fun.
So Eric Goldman, my former coworker from IGN, he's now over at Fandom. He tweeted out, with the networks needing product, Fox is going to begin airing the Little Scene Bad Boys spin-off series, LA's Finest, on Mondays this fall. LA's Finest is a Spectrum original, and you've probably never watched a Spectrum original, which is why this is a smart play. So I was like, what the fuck is this?
Is this the Jessica Alba one?
Jessica Alba and Gabrielle Union, who plays her character from Bad Boys 2. This is legit in the Bad Boys universe, and an entire season of the show happened on Spectrum last year. It's now going to play on Fox, and there's a new season.
What the hell?
What the hell? I don't know what the fuck Spectrum is. I think it's one of those weird ass like digital only TV things that no one hears about because they're not really successful, but there's a lot of money put into it, like Go 90.
Oh.
So it's the sister.
So weird.
And Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
I mean, I never watched the Bad Boys movies when you guys did interview. Is Jessica Alba in this at all, or is she just new?
Jessica Alba's not, but Gabrielle Union is the sister of Martin Lawrence.
But this also could mean that in the future, Jessica Alba's going to be in it.
Totally.
Yeah.
But this is so bizarre, where it's like, I just straight up, and granted, Bad Boys is to Josh McCouga what Fast and Furious is to me. So I would know this if it was about Fast and Furious. I'm new to the Bad Boys lifestyle, but I just find it kind of crazy that there's this whole piece of content that exists in the cinematic world of Bad Boys with Jessica Alba and we did a whole in review, and no one wrote in facts for me.
No one said
read.
anything
No one
about
said
it.
anything about this. Like, how is that real?
Well, again, it was one season on this platform called Spectre that we've never heard of.
Spectrum.
What, you see that? I didn't even know what the actual name was.
But anyway,
Gabrielle Union, Jessica Alba, Zach Gilford, who was in Friday Night Lights, and Ernie Hudson, with among others, which is like a cast of a lot of people that are well known. For us to know nothing about it.
Anyway, and just look at, like, it's using the Bad Boys font and everything. I don't know. Anyway, go check it out. LA's finest, coming to Fox near you. Speaking of TV channels here, YouTube TV is adding 14 cable networks from Viacom CBS under an expanded pact. This has been a long time coming. YouTube TV's service I've been using for a while now, mainly to get ABC. And it's been great. I really like it, but there's a weird lack of big channels that has always surprised me when I'm trying to. I'm
really excited because there's one channel specifically that it's been lacking that I want to see if it's got on here.
So the network's adding BET, CMT, Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon, Paramount Network, TV Land, VH1, BET Her, MTV2, Nick Jr., Nicktoons, Teen Nick, and MTV Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
What was the one you were waiting for, Kev?
I want CNN.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, no, it's not that.
Just not what I would have expected you to say.
Really?
Like, I'm really waiting for a channel. I was expecting some like AMC, like something that's like premium content. Nope, CNN. The Paramount Network one is interesting because I feel like they do some cool stuff. Like they did like the cool Patrick Swayze documentary, but like no cable packages with like anybody that I checked with ever had it.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of an interest. It has specialty stuff, but it's weird to see it roped in with so many like high level things.
Joey, I think you might be using the mic on your headphones. Just a heads up for you.
Give a tappy tap on this one. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
For sure.
Cool. That's cool.
But yeah, this is good news. You know, I want YouTube TV to be a little more fleshed out than it currently is. It works well, but it could definitely work better. I've been loving it for The Last Dance, that's for damn sure.
Huh. People in the chat are saying CNN is on YouTube TV.
Oh, does this sound any better?
Yes. Give it another tap though.
No.
Nope. Sounded like it sounded better though.
Do you know how to do it?
No.
You go into Discord settings.
Oh, I already did that, and it's
really?
on this.
Whoa.
That's weird.
It's not terrible. It just sounds a little bit different than us. I'm also wearing my wireless headphones, so there's a little bit of a delay. So I'm trying really not to get like confused by it.
Good Lord, Kevin. Good fucking Lord. What a sentence. Next story. We're talking about M. Night Shyamalan. He set the cast for his next movie, and it's pretty exciting stuff, guys. So Shyamalan recently executive produced Servant, a horror fiction series for Apple TV+. But Shyamalan will write, produce, and direct an untitled film, which will be released by Universal Pictures. Like most Shyamalan films, plot details are shrouded in secrecy and can become and we'll see if they become interconnected later. Shyamalan, wait, hold on. Creep's breakout role in Paul Thomas Anderson's romance drama Phantom Thread launched her career, having later appeared in The Last Vermeer and The Girl in the Spider's Web. So that Krieps is the actress that they're talking about there. Vicky Creeps. Eliza Scanlon, Thomasin McKenzie, Aaron Pierre, and Alex Wolff. Most of these names you might not recognize, but if you saw them, you'd be like, oh shit, that's pretty damn cool. We got
Eliza Scanlon, I think, was like the other sister in Little Women. That wasn't one of the big famous
she was the other sister in Little Women. She was also in Sharp Objects, the HBO show.
Yeah.
Mackenzie was the girl from Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, okay.
She's cool.
Yeah. And then Wolf is the guy from Hereditary.
Yeah.
The older brother. And also he was in
Jumanji?
Jumanji.
That's
yes.
a good name.
Yeah, it is.
Who's
Wolf
his brother?
In real life?
Isn't his brother somebody like somebody also important?
I don't know. Let's look it up. Alex Wolff. Relatives. Nat Wolff.
Oh, it's like a type of bug.
He's a Nickelodeon kid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Naked Brothers Band. Cool.
Anyway.
Cool. Next news story. Anyway, I'm just excited about that. I like M. Night Shyamalan 50% of the time, and I hope this one's a hit.
Sorry, I was
Ken.
just gonna say I don't know that I'm excited about it because it's one of those things where it's like I feel like he gave me 2 movies that I like, which were Split and The Visit, and then the movie after that, Glass, didn't do it for me.
So a key thing to keep in mind there is Glass was self-financed by him, and
yeah, but it was a story I had a problem with.
No, totally, but it didn't have nearly the budget or time of like to even just become a movie, even like with scripting that these other ones would with backing of Universal. But I'm with you that it was definitely a letdown.
Damn, Glass.
Has anybody watched his series on Apple TV?
The one about the little
servant?
Yeah, that's the one where there's a nanny,
Rupert Grint,
and she has to take care of like a toy, right?
I think that's the boy. I don't know if that's the same as. I don't know if it's the same premise as the show.
No, well, yeah, but boy is no. I think it's the same premise.
Okay.
I get that they're similar.
Okay.
Next news story: San Diego Comic-Con 2020 announces Summer at Home event. Just a few weeks after we learned SDCC 2020 has been canceled for the first time in 50 years, it looks like the team behind the world-renowned convention is cooking up something. On Friday, the Comic-Con team shared a video announcement on Twitter and their YouTube page regarding a special at-home event, which will take place virtually. The video is short and somewhat enigmatic as it teases the forthcoming event called Comic-Con at Home. It has just a bunch of text. Really looks pretty shitty, if I'm being honest. Saying coming soon, free parking, comfy chairs, personalized snacks, no lines, pets welcome, badges for all, and a front row seat to Comic-Con at Home. Pretty fun. Like I like it as an idea, but there's not enough news here to actually be exciting. I think that this is going to lean more towards smaller panels and some weird little interesting tidbits here and there. That's more for like the hardcore fans. I don't think this is going to be Hall H digital.
Which would be so cool.
Maybe I'm wrong, and I feel like this is kind of looking at the entertainment side of the industry that we're so used to talking about the video game events and E3 and how that's transitioning into this new summer game fest world. But what
summer's getting busy.
Yeah, totally.
With all of these festivals and stuff coming up.
But with Comic-Con, with the movies just work differently. So I'm interested to see what, if anything, comes from this that we will care about.
Are you thinking it's going to go more like when the festivals were like putting stuff on Amazon Prime where like no one really?
I think it's going to be more like, to go back to the gaming thing, more GDC than E3. It's like, I don't think it's going to be the Hall H stuff. I think it's going to be like, I feel like a lot of the like reunions and all that stuff we're just kind of seeing because of quarantine times now anyway. It's like recently with the community thing and all that. So interesting stuff. Skipping that one, moving on to some Batman updates. It's not really news or anything, but I did think this was fun, specifically because the headline for this over on Collider is Andy Serkis teases the Batman with intriguing new story details. And when I saw this, I was like, what the fuck does Andy Serkis have to do with Batman? I was like, he's directing Venom. Do you guys remember what Serkis is doing with Batman?
No.
He's Alfred.
Huh.
And then I was like,
did we know this?
Yeah, we did know this. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. We've just been talking about the Batman for so long now. But yeah, Andy Serkis is going to be Alfred.
I don't remember this at all.
And I'm pretty interested in that. So here we go. In a recent exclusive from Lad Bible, Serkis shared 2 brief teases about the Batman. The first one focusing on the tone of the movie. Serkis seemed to confirm fellow Batman cast member Colin Farrell's past comments about the tone of Reeves' story, telling Lad Bible this new Batman story will be darker than previous versions of the story, and went on to remark, I would say that's not far from the truth, which is the lamest news story ever. How much darker is yet to be made clear, but it sure sounds like Reeves' Batman will now be competing with Nolan's Batman trilogy for the title of the darkest Batman story. Additionally, Serkis shared some insights in the story as it relates to Alfred and Bruce. Serkis told Lad Bible it's very much about the emotional connection between Alfred and Bruce. That's really at the center of it, and it's really exquisite script that Matt has written. That's the thing that I feel is kind of most exciting about this. Like, I like the idea of this being a dark take on Batman that is kind of setting out to be different than what we've seen already with Dark Knight, and focusing on the characters of Bruce and Alfred, I think could be very interesting. We saw it a bit in the trilogy, but I think that, kind of condensing it down, and Andy Serkis is awesome You know, like he's done so many like great roles and stuff, and I feel like he has a great voice when it comes to being an actor, and I think that he can really give a character to Alfred that is radically different than what we've seen before. Because I think that when it comes to the last two interpretations of Alfred, for sure, they've knocked it out of the park, right?
Yeah,
Even in
those
Batman
are
v
big shoes to
Superman.
fill.
Yeah, like he did great.
Yeah, I agree. I think you need somebody that has obviously the experience, and like he does such random like projects kind of all over the place that I feel like he won't be afraid to like make this into his own interpretation of Alfred, and not just kind of continue the character as it's been established.
This is kind of a silly question, maybe, but like, so this is completely unconnected to any of the other Batman movies in the DC?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm very intrigued by this whole movie to see
It's just,
like with all the talk around it and what it's actually going to be.
I'm interested in it, but it's just one of those things where it's like I'm more interested in DC, and like it seems like they just don't have long-term plans, you know, where they're just like, we're gonna keep making random movies that aren't connected to other movies, and it's like, it's fine.
Well, I think that's their long-term plan. Like, I think they're kind of committing to that, where it's like they're not trying to do the interconnected universe thing anymore. They're like, hey, look, we found success with Joker, and it's like that's kind of like, well, our lane. We should stay in our lane and like keep doing that.
Yeah. I just feel like that puts a lot of pressure on, like, hey, you better make each movie amazing, you know?
I hope so. I mean, that should be the goal, right?
Yeah,
like that's the weird thing is like everything I just said is kind of in contradiction to the fact that, okay, we have Wonder Woman, we know we have Shazam 2, we know we have Flash coming out, and like, what will those movies end up being? Because they already are part. Like, how do you take stuff out of a cinematic universe that already exists? And I think it's.
I mean, they've done such a good job of not including, like, not making these movies connected or feel connected.
But then the making them good part is the next key.
Yeah.
element. Like that
should have been the first key.
That's the struggle.
Yeah.
But anyways, speaking of some good movies here, though, guys, I got some Happy Death Day stuff for you. So Jessica Roth was interviewed, and this is another kind of non-story, but I just thought it was interesting stuff. She was being interviewed about a new movie she is in, some 80s themed thing that is called Valley Girl. And apparently it's not reviewing that well, so I'm not that interested in it. But what I am interested in is Happy Death Day, and they asked some questions about that. This Collider said, "You were so good in the Happy Death Day movies. Is there any chance that we'll see a third? Is that something that you'd like to see happen?" She said, "I'd love to see that happen. I know that the incredible, brilliant genius Chris Landon has a third one in his brain. I would really love to get to finish Tree's story. We didn't know we were going to get to make a second one, but then once we did, we definitely left it open for a third. I know that we all also feel really passionately that if we're going to make it, we want to make it right, and we want to make it incredible and raise the bar again in terms of genre bending and the quality of the movies and the story. Hopefully we'll get to do it, and hopefully we'll get to make it in the right way." And then the interviewer said, "Yeah, there's definitely fan desire for a third one." And she was like, "I also have to say, though, that if in 20 years I get to pull a Jamie Lee Curtis a la Halloween and just barge back into the scene as a badass older Tree, I'm not going to be mad at that. I'm ready for it now. I'm ready for it then."
That's dope.
That's a great way to end that. Those movies are so much fun.
They're way better than they should be.
Yeah.
And like the second one, I was pleasantly surprised by, because I was like, how are they going to do this again and not make it like just retreading the same thing? And they did a really, really good job.
Yeah. If there's a third one, you guys can guarantee we're doing Death Day in review for sure.
No matter if it's next year or 20 years from
20 years from now, we'll be there. One of the last stories here is for you, Joey. We got a trailer for Netflix's The Babysitter's Club.
Okay, so I saw this. We've been watching a lot of movies together this weekend, and so I saw it like go through my feed at one point. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm excited. Is it a weird show to be excited about? Kind of, but I just loved the Babysitting Club book so much as a kid. I had like all of them, and they would like go on like these weird RV camping vacations and write the bigger books about them, and they had the cool holographic colors. It was the best. I don't know anything about this.
The show premieres on Netflix July 3rd with 10 half-hour episodes. Here's the synopsis for you to get you a little more educated, Joe.
Okay.
Netflix's new series, The Babysitter's Club, is based on the best-selling beloved book series that follows the friendship and adventures of Christy, Marianne, Claudia, Stacy, and Dawn, as the middle schoolers start their babysitting business in the town of Stony Brook, Connecticut. Rounding out the cast, Alicia Silverstone plays Elizabeth Thomas Brewer, the selfless single mother of Christy Thomas, and love interest of all-around good guy Watson Brewer, played by Mark Furstein. Ann M. Martin, the series author and show producer, conceived the idea of these inspiring young girls with different backgrounds, personalities, and opinions that were brought together by a business venture they created and bonded through the friendships they forged. The adaptation of the contemporary dramedy that continues to champion friendship, female empowerment, and entrepreneurship was led by Rachel Skort, who did Glow as show, and Lucia Anelio, who did Broad City, as executive producer and director. So
that's pretty dope.
I'm feeling the team there. So I watched the teaser. Doesn't speak to me necessarily, but it definitely has a early 90s aesthetic to it. A lot of very bold colors.
Love it.
And a lot of young girls. So Joey, this might get you going.
I'm gonna watch it. Whether it's like when they did the Fuller House reboot. Like, of course I'm gonna watch it. I don't know that I'm gonna like continue to watch it if they make more, but I gotta like respect the OG series, you know.
Join the club, baby. Join the club. You'll love to see it. And then the two more news stories that I want to get to. This is a weird one, but the Mandalorian season 2 is gonna have Boba Fett, and he's gonna be played by Tamora Morrison, who did Jango Fett in the prequels. Kevin, how does this make you feel?
Confused. What's our timeline here? Where are we at? Isn't this
7 years post Jedi?
So, as far as we know, Boba Fett dead.
Yeah.
So this is either Boba Fett survived, or some sort of different Boba Fett.
So we'll see. I mean, if it's the clone, that would make sense. Or actually, that wouldn't make sense because Boba Fett we've seen was a different. Well, I don't fucking know.
He was an altered clone of Jango Fett. But they only made one of those. So
they could look similar when they grow up. That would check out.
Yeah, that would check out totally.
But remember, this was teased in season 1 with the Spurs, right? In the Gunslinger episode, and everyone's like, "Is that Boba? That doesn't make sense." They can make it make sense because they can do anything they want.
Sure.
Darth Maul's back.
I didn't like season 1. I hope I like season 2 more. The tech's cool.
What I don't like about this is that they announced it.
Yeah.
Like, this definitely stuff that I'm just like, yeah, that would have been a cool reveal.
Right.
And I get that they announced it because this would have been leaked and spoiled anyways, but it's like.
But I mean, Baby Yoda wasn't.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
That's true. And I mean, I guess the difference here is that, like, it's not Disney officially announcing this. It's just still just like Hollywood Reporter reporting on this. But they didn't report about Baby Yoda. But I guess it's harder to report him because he wasn't cast.
I mean, someone probably did his voice.
I wonder who. I want to know.
I'll get on it.
And then the last news story. This is another weird one that could probably turn into absolutely nothing because it's just an actor saying things that he's probably not privy to.
Tom Holland?
No. We got Michael Douglas talking a little bit about Ant-Man 3. He was asked some questions on Instagram Live, and he did a 26-second video where he's just like, "Look, I can't tell you anything. The Marvel guys will get me. But you're going to hear something soon about Ant-Man 3. And it's just like, okay, cool.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah, Ant-Man 3 not officially announced yet, but we can all assume it's going to happen. But yeah, so him talking about it, at least you assume, knows more about it. This sparked up a whole bunch of just kind of theorizing and rumors about what Ant-Man 3 is going to be. And like we've talked about this before, that like the kind of running idea is that Ant-Man 3 is going to focus on the young Avengers and kind of like bring them into play with casting and all that stuff and interweaving with the Disney Plus shows. But another interesting thing that was brought up from this somehow in the comments, and we'll fucking see, but the potential idea of the movie being Ant-Man and the Fantastic Four, which could be a pretty cool way to bring them into the franchise, not put too much focus on them, kind of have the established brand of Ant-Man of people knowing what, like being excited about that and the quality of that. And it also would make sense if they go with a more 60s version of the Fantastic Four family, interweaving that with Michael Douglas's Ant-Man timeline. I don't know. Cool stuff. I just put it there just because I wanted to say all that.
That'd be really
But before we move on to what we've been watching, I want to tell you about our sponsor, Honey. Why is it so hard to find coupon codes that actually work? Thanks to Honey, it doesn't have to be. Honey's the free online shopping tool that saves you money online. Honey automatically finds the best promo codes and applies them to your cart, which makes online shopping finally feel as easy as it's supposed to be. I recently ordered some art prints to finally put on the wall over here on redbubble.com. And guess what? I saved a ton of money because I got 20% off thanks to Honey. Just making things happen. I didn't even need to do anything. I installed Honey a long time ago, and it just automatically does the work for me when I'm checking out. It finds the best codes. It asks me if I want to apply them. Of course I do. I'm saving money. It's that easy. Honey has found over 18 million members, over $2 billion in savings. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online. They're adding more every day. It's crazy. Things from Target, Best Buy, Sephora, Macy's, eBay, Etsy, Walmart, all the way down to things like Redbubble, like I'm talking about. You just wait a few seconds for it to scan every promo code on the internet. Next thing you know, you're saving money. Not using Honey's literally passing up free money. It's free to use and installs in just 2 clicks. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/morning. That's joinhoney.com/morning. It's free, guys. Just do it. Do it.
do it.
Let's talk about what we've been watching, guys. Where do you want to start, Joey?
I accidentally muted my mic. We've been watching so many things. Let's start with Idle Hands.
Yes. It's a great thing to start. The classic, the Devon Sawa classic movie, Idle Hands. I haven't seen it for at least a decade. You have never seen it. Gia's never seen it. What were your thoughts for the first time?
So there's definitely things in there that don't hold up. But overall, I totally get why 90s versions of all of you loved it. And it's fun. Like, I can understand that, like, yeah, it probably wouldn't be made the same way today, but like, it was fun. And it's a dumb stoner comedy, which like I generally like in terms of genre. The Seth Green and the other guy from the Mighty Ducks, whose name I never remember, they were super fun.
Oh. So offended by that question. She left.
Every episode, and I don't know why. Every episode.
Joey, it happened in a way that you seemed like you were offended by my Mighty Ducks question. And you were just like, I'm out.
No, I can't believe Kevin doesn't know the Mighty Ducks well enough to know that guy. He's the other Bash brother, but he has like dark hair.
Oh my God, you're right. I mean, he's super young also. Also true. Jessica Alba's super weird. Like, her role is so weird. Good. The whole Devon Sawa's like acting against himself, I think, is really fun in like the physical comedy kind of way. Remember when
I had a great time.
Oh, well, I guess the finger sharpens itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting watching the movie for the first time in so long, because I feel like watching a lot of 90s comedy movies, like, they very, very rarely hold up. Like, there's something about the 90s in particular that just, because I feel like the 80s comedies, the real classics had like a timeless feeling to them that it's like,
I don't know. I feel like rewatching some of them, you're like, oh man, that's just rape. That joke you're making is just rape.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. But I'm saying that I feel like there are some standout ones that like they feel like they're defining that era, but like are still relevant today. And it's like timeless within the time capsule. Whereas other ones
Can't Hardly Wait.
Like, well, that was 90s, right?
No, I know. I was just throwing Can't Hardly Wait out. It's a classic.
But I feel like with a lot of the 90s movies, when I rewatch them, I'm just like, man, these are just bad. Like, they just like some of the Adam Sandler movies, like, you watch and it makes me sad how the things that I thought were funny, I'm nostalgic for it, but like, it just doesn't hold up. And it's not just because of the language. It's because like it isn't good. And Idle Hands, well, I'm not arguing.
I don't know that
a great movie.
That's necessarily true. I think sometimes it is in a big part because of the language. I don't know if some of these movies like aren't good, like Mallrats, which is great, but y'all saw the wrong version.
I mean, that's a topic for a different show, but it also is a perfect example of what I'm talking about, where it's like some of these things just
you can't speak to it, Tim. You can't speak to it.
But Idle Hands is something that I was surprised by being so non-conventional in its storytelling, of it being, it's a comedy for sure, but it's also a horror movie. Like it is a lot scarier than I remember, and they lean into some very interesting things. You guys watching it for the first time didn't know what was going on. I think that's good. Where it's like you were surprised by the twists, surprised by the reveals of what was happening with Anton's character, and I'm like, to me, it's so straightforward because I know what happens, but I've never seen a movie that kind of handles its plot this way, where when the reveals happen in a horror comedy way, it works on both genres.
Yeah.
So,
and
go watch Idle Hands. It's pretty impressive.
I guess the way that I heard you guys talk about it, of like, oh yeah, like I understand that you guys used to watch it around Halloween or whatever, but I didn't expect it to be this much horror as much as I just expected it to be comedy. I also didn't, there was somewhere in my brain that I thought this hand was like a separate character. I didn't realize it was also Devon Sawa.
But
like Addams Family kind of shit.
It becomes its own character.
Totally.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't realize
especially
the evolution
when he puts the puppet on.
Oh yeah.
What a weird movie, man.
What a weird
like
movie.
I was expecting the whole first segment with like the parents and stuff like that. Totally thought that was going to be like a prank, and that's how you're going to set the thing of like he's this prankster, and then he's not.
No, much
how the horror part starts.
Much darker.
Anyways.
Speaking of that, there's another movie I want to talk about that we watched in the last week, which is Single White Female, a movie I have never seen before, and it is fucked up, man.
Yeah, it's
a
wild.
Horrifying 90s movie. Joe, you want to give the pitch on this one?
Yeah, so it's this girl who finds out her boyfriend is like cheating on her or talking to somebody else. So she kicks him out of the apartment, and she puts an ad in the classified saying that she's looking for a new roommate, which is where Single White Female comes from. And this girl comes in and moves in with her, and then the girl is like not as normal as you would think that she is. If you've ever seen The Roommate, that came out, I don't know, probably in the last 10 years with the girl from Gossip Girl and the girl from Friday Night Lights, whose names I never remember. It's like a very similar vibe of just like, oh, all of a sudden this girl like starts to totally try and morph into the original girl kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ingrid Goes West as well, that came out a couple
yeah.
But less comedic. Even
totally.
Though
this is like very
fair share of fucked up
80s
things.
thriller.
But it's fucked up. Like it's a scary ass movie that like when shit's happening, you're like, damn, this could happen, and that's horrifying.
Yeah. And it's crazy that that has been like not a trope necessarily, but like a theme for so long that there's always been this like, oh, someone could just like try and take over your life and your identity kind of thing.
Yeah. Kev,
I think it's totally worth watching.
Yeah,
Especially if you like,
I thought it was fun.
If you like stuff like Fatal Attraction and like all of those kind of vibes.
My boy Prince last week hit me up and was like, bro, The Lodge is on Hulu. You should watch it. And I was like, all right, I've been wanting to watch this horror movie for a while. I think I like horror movies, guys. I didn't know.
Oh, welcome.
You know what I mean? Paula made me watch a whole bunch, and I think I'm in because like, man, this movie's fucked up. It is. It really is the less you know, the better. Cool. So I don't want to talk too much about it, but I think it's worth watching. It's on Hulu. Didn't seem that long. It's just fucked up. It's a fucked up movie. That
how does it compare to something like an Ari Aster movie?
It's in that vein.
Horror.
Okay, it's in that vein. Yeah. It's that sort of style where it's kind of there's less like not magical stuff, but yeah, like magic doesn't play. It's more of a psychological thing. And just watching it is like, it's an uneasy, uncomfortable experience that at the end kind of leaves you like, fucking all right. I guess that's how that ends. But like in a good way. Yeah, in a satisfying way where you're like, all right, why did I think that it could be like things could go smoother than the way they went? Yeah. I highly recommend it.
Two things that I watched on Disney Plus this week were Prop Culture and the Disney Gallery Mandalorian documentary. The Disney Gallery Mandalorian thing, there's 2 episodes out now. I watched both of them. It's real good, Kev. Like, I think you should watch it as a Star Wars fan. Like, they have such fun conversations. The first episode is all the directors from Mandalorian season 1. And I mean, real talk, I'll watch Taika Waititi talk about anything, but hearing him talk about Star Wars is awesome. And episode 2 is kind of just going more into the legacy of Star Wars. And Dave Filoni, who we've heard the name a million times, and I know we're not necessarily the group that's like super into Clone Wars and Rebels.
About him, though.
Exactly. And it's like watching this, like I already knew, but it really gives context to this dude gets Star Wars on a level that no other human being does. And he respects George Lucas and all of George Lucas's decisions, all of them, to the utmost degree.
Well, to be fair, he's also been working on like the Clone Wars era time thing for so long.
But you need to watch this because episode 2, there's a like 10-minute diatribe he goes on that he's just talking about why Duel of the Fates is important and what it actually is. And he just talks about Star Wars in a way I've never heard before. Like it adds so much context. Doesn't make anything better in my opinion, but it at least gives context to what he's doing with Clone Wars and why people, love those shows or whatever. But it's just like he fucking gets it, man. And I think that this show, this Disney Gallery Mandalorian thing, is really good content. I'm excited to keep watching. And I was originally kind of worried they were just going to stretch it out. Like 8 episodes was unnecessary. But I think that with the direction that they're taking it, it's so far been fruitful content.
Did they do this like,
in contrast too?
Do they do that like just wide, like all the episodes of one, like binge release?
Mandalorian's not.
Oh, okay.
Mandalorian, it's week to week for the Disney Gallery series.
The Gallery, okay, cool.
Prop Culture is all at once. I think it's 8 episodes. They're all out. I watched 1 and I just didn't like it.
That's such a bummer.
I know, because it's such a cool idea. It's the Disney Plus show where they have this Disney historian, for all intents and purposes, a collector of movie props and movie like Hollywood related things, not just Disney, but they have him go and each one focuses on a different movie. The one I watched was the Who Framed Roger Rabbit episode.
Oh, it's a good movie.
And he has different props that they use in the movie. He'll go talk to animators that worked on it. He'll have actors like that. He interviewed Christopher Lloyd, which is really cool.
That's tight.
It's in theory, it's really cool. It's just in execution, it feels kind of sterile and lifeless. Like,
interesting.
It's very surface level, and I don't feel like I'm learning anything. It's kind of just like introducing, like, and now we're going to go to the animator, and it's just like, oh man, this should be freaking awesome and informative and cool, but it kind of just feels like that's where the conversation ends.
How did it like compare to the what's the dude's name? They had a
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, that's it. Goldblum's show.
It's very different.
Oh really? Okay, because I felt like
it's a similar vibe.
Like,
it's a similar vibe for me where I'm like, this isn't hitting right. Where it's like and it does go back into I didn't feel like I was learning anything, and it's presented as if I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
It is like that. It's just kind of this feels very made for TV in a way that we're just in a world now with documentaries that are The Last Dance, which is like making me care about basketball. Like, you can't really fuck around, even when the Disney Gallery Mandalorian thing's happening at the same time, and it's a very different thing. It's much lower production. Like, most of it is a roundtable of people talking, but it's an interesting conversation. Yeah,
it's really cool people talking.
Yeah,
that's too bad.
I know. I was really excited for that.
I actually think that like this makes me want to watch it more. Like just the first episode to try it out.
Pop culture.
Yeah.
Cool.
I feel like this is a similar one where like I would pick and choose to watch one based on like if there were any movies I was interested in. I don't think
that's
I would just go through it. Yeah. Yeah,
because they had Mary Poppins was the first episode, and I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Tron, that's kind of cool. Like there's cool IP for sure. But yeah. Kev, the one other thing that I don't know if you've seen yet, but you're gonna want to watch, the Too Hot to Handle reunion special.
Well, Tim, I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't finish Too Hot to Handle until this weekend.
Oh.
I only watched 4 or 5 episodes, and then this weekend we finished it. And I didn't realize the reunion episode hadn't released, like is releasing now. I thought it was So like we got to watch it all straight forward. I can't. Oh, these people, man.
These fucking people.
You know what I mean? They're real dumb.
They're real dumb.
Yeah, it was interesting. I didn't like it was unfortunate that the way they had to do the format for the reunion episode, because I feel like having them all together is like it's better content because they get to interact with each other in a cool way.
Here's the thing, Kev. Here's an interesting, like, we're having not a debate, but we have all debated the merits of having it done the way that it was, because I agree with you. The fun of a reunion special is having them all together and having that banter back and forth.
Which I still don't 100% understand what it is.
I don't either.
But I
don't know that she knows the right.
It's charisma. It's just it's game. It's just game. But I feel like this allowed a focus that actually, like, questions were posed and answered in a way that in traditional reunion specials, questions are posed and then it just turns into blah, 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 like screaming and uncontrollable.
But that's funner to watch than to hear people answer like simple math questions.
Yeah, I don't know though, because like that's the thing is reunion specials. I feel like even just looking at like the Bachelor ones, when they get out of control and then it's not fun anymore. Like it's fun when there's a one-on-one kind of people yelling at each other, but then it never ends there. And then it just turns into like way too much. I like that this was short, kind of just gave us what we needed. We got some updates. We got some really awkward proposals that was horrible.
Awful.
But then you get like the Shonda, where I'm like,
but it's like, give me more about that. Like, what happened?
What happened?
Elaborate a little bit more, because it feels like you're hurt, and he's just like, it's fine.
Sharon seems fine.
It's fine.
Yeah,
don't worry about it. And it's like,
life.
see, like I felt
and
like
to think that she gave that up for David, or gave up David for that.
Yeah,
upsetting.
It really is. He seemed like he had some feelings there. You know what I mean? I like David.
I do too.
Anything else, Kev?
No. As of right now, that's all I've watched. Still on the docket. I have to finish watching Altered Carbon, the cloning show.
Yeah.
There's a couple other things I want to jump into.
The one update I want to just reiterate again is, God, The Last Dance is good. You guys should watch it. It's fantastic stuff. Joey, Gia, and I watched one of the 2 episodes they put out last night. Very excited to finish tonight. It just got too late. So no, next week's the final 2 episods.
I'm so excited.
Why do they release 2 at a time?
Quarantine stuff. They're just trying to get them numbers up. I'm happy they do though, because it's fucking good, man. It's really good.
10 out of 10. And I don't really care about basketball too much, and like I have very little knowledge of 90s basketball. It's really cool. The timeline does get a little bit messy, but all the stories they have to tell are super interesting.
I asked you guys to go to patreon.com/kindoffunny to write in what you've been watching during these quarantine times. Ricky McFly says, I've been watching Miss America on Hulu. The cast is crazy and the character interactions really make it a worthwhile watch. Finishing up season 2 of Sex Education and just finished the Michelle Obama documentary Becoming.
That's on my list too.
Grant Burton says, I've been watching the first season of Doom Patrol. It's a superhero TV show that really focuses on the characters rather than action. The cast is great. Flashbacks do a good job of fleshing them out. The show is also pretty funny and at times bonkers. It isn't afraid to push things like having a donkey being the gateway to another dimension, or a talking cockroach that wants world domination. At 15 episodes, it's too long and the CGI is really bad, but it's a really fun show. I recommend to everyone to at least try.
Do you have to
Great review, Grant. I
You're
like
not
that.
selling us on it, but I like that you're being honest.
In the donkey to go to the other universe?
Hey, man. We'll have to watch to find out. Techie Haas says, hey, guys, I watched Extraction, the Anthony Russo produced Netflix movie starring Chris Hemsworth. I liked it. The story's forgettable, but the action scenes are really good. The car chase one is amazing. Have you guys seen it? Also, thanks to Tim, I watched Dave, and now I'm a little Dicky fan. The show's so good. Thank you. Love you guys. Well, congrats. Season 2, baby. Joey was pitching me on Extraction.
I was trying to get you to watch it.
Speaking to me.
I know. Because I wanted to watch it downstairs, because it seems like if you're going to watch a movie like that, you should watch it with the cool sound and stuff. All of that.
I'm getting a little more warmed up to it because it seems like it's doing well and like it's being well received. Not that it's great, but that it is fun.
Yeah.
I like that. Kev, I bought a movie that I'm excited to watch for the first time.
Is it Knives Out? Okay, cool.
Have you seen this before?
No, I haven't. I read the manga though.
I fucking hate you so much. Oh God. So there you go. Next week, continue to leave your recommendations or just what you've been watching. It's not necessarily recommendations. I want to know the bad stuff too. Okay. I like what Grant did here. Give me a real raw review of something, good or bad. Just be honest. You know what I'm talking about? All right, guys.
Real quick. I bought Knives Out not too long ago. I'm very excited to rewatch it. Tim, you haven't watched it, right?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I saw it in theaters.
Oh, never mind then.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind.
I loved it.
It's a great movie. Really it's a great movie.
Yeah, super fun. Can't wait for a sequel.
Good. I don't know if it's great.
It's great, Joey.
It's great.
You are
I don't know.
wrong. In fact, wrong. I thought you were gonna bounce out there.
Just
don't ruin everything. Don't do it.
This has been Screencast. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week, probably at our normal scheduled day, which at this point is Thursdays. Thank you for your patience when it comes to scheduling with stuff. There's been a lot of things going on, fumbling things around one way or another.
We got some cool things coming up, including something that just got announced on our Twitter account.
Really?
Kind of Funhouse Week.
Oh, cool. Great. We can finally talk about that. That's happening. It's going to be the last week of May, starting with Memorial Day. We're doing a whole bunch of collaborations with Funhouse, both on their channel and on our channel. It's going to be super fun for everybody. But yeah, until then, peace. Love you. Adios.